Hi, I'm Chantel Cohen, and I am here with my good friend Chantel. And so you guys are getting double the fun of the Chantels or the Chantels. We spell our names exactly the same, but I've asked Chantel here to talk about modern love and dating and what it's like and what she expects from a significant other. I just have one caveat is, guys, I'm going to ask you to fire away any questions that you have or any comments. I just want you to be respectful to my guest. She is here at my request. And so any comments that are other than nice about Chantel, or even for me for that matter, you can keep those to yourself. So if you want to know about modern dating and love, I want you to watch my series. For the next few weeks, I am going to be interviewing different men and women about modern love and dating and expectations. And everyone has their opinion, and I thought it might be valuable for you all to hear this. I think so many of you have talked about being disillusioned and it feels hard. And so I just wanted you to get a sense of what other people are feeling and what can we do about this. So stay tuned. We will have more of these interviews, and it'll sort of culminate, if you will, with kind of a little dinner party where we all kind of sit around and we talk about modern love in the United States. Here we go. So this is my first question to Chantel. What do women want from relationships? And I know I'm asking you to speak for all women. So again, guys, if you don't agree with this, just speak your mind and say, here's what I would want for a relationship. So what do you think? What do women want from relationships?
I would say for me, I'm looking for someone that's honest and respectful and gives back to our community and is a hard worker. I think most women could probably agree that those things are kind of across the board, are a baseline of what we're looking for. And then, of course, you know, we all have our niches that we like. But I'm just looking for someone that is kind of your day-to-day guy.
Ooh, like a bro?
No, not a bro. Definitely not a bro.
Day-to-day guy, okay.
Where people just meet that person and they're like, wow, I feel like I've known him for years, or I've met him before. I just kind of like people that people just naturally kind of gravitate to.
So authentic, maybe, because you said honest, authentic, but maybe a little charismatic personality.
Yes.
Because you talked about people being drawn to him.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Has a certain uniqueness to him.
I like that. Okay. Yeah, charismatic men are oftentimes enthralling and captivating. Yeah, no, I get that.
I think too, you're drawn to kind of who you are sometimes.
Yeah.
And I would say my personality is pretty.
Yeah, I can definitely say that with some girls' nights out that Chantel is definitely, she knows everyone, never met a stranger, and so I think it would be pretty hard to be in a relationship if the guy is really sort of taciturn and quiet, or a guy who's kind of shrinking back.
Right.
So that does make sense. So you can kind of walk in the room and command it together.
Right. Or
Love
they're
that.
like, hey, I know this guy and you know this person. And it's just kind of like, we end up knowing everybody in the building somehow.
I love that.
Especially by the end of the night.
Yeah, it's kind of Barack and Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this next question.
Sure.
Do you believe in marriage?
Yes, I do.
You do. Why do you believe in marriage?
I think that there's a lot of very beautiful marriages out there that are successful. And even though my family doesn't quite have that history, I do believe in them. And, you know, I'm 31, so I'm not saying tomorrow, but I do think that when, you know, the day comes, I'm going to have full faith in it and go dive in head first.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, are you a romantic? It seems like
It depends. I think it depends. I mean, it definitely takes me a while to get there, but once I'm there, yeah.
Okay. Because it's interesting. There's a lot out there about marriage, and we know that marriage is on the decline. And it's as people, as women are kind of in the workforce, earning their own money, and does it make sense to get married? And I'm actually going to do a little video on that. But it is interesting. I mean, if I can add my 2 cents here.
Yeah.
You know, I've been married a long time, 27 years, and we've been together 32 years. And I think you can speak to this, that my marriage is like my center, my compass. My husband is my person. And yet I wonder if I were on the market again, like having had the experience with my husband, I don't know if I'd ever marry. I just feel like it would be so hard. It feels so natural and easy. And, you know, I think as we get older too, it just feels like, oh my gosh, I even like the fact that we're kind of walking, we're middle-aged, and you know what it means to be married. So I guess I believe in marriage, unless something happened to my husband, I suddenly wouldn't be. It's kind of interesting. So I think, do you think a lot of your peers believe in marriage?
My friends are such a wide array of age range. I'd say probably 70% of them do not.
Ooh.
Yes.
I want to interview those people.
Yes. I'd say 70% of them do not.
That's really interesting, because we're even seeing in Europe that less people are getting married. People are still cohabitating, but less people are getting married.
They're definitely very open to living with someone long term, but the word marriage and kids and, you know, shared bank accounts,
No.
they're all red flags for them. They're just like, no way.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas when we got together, I was 23. We had one bank account. You know, we didn't have shit.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a different day and time too, where, you know, people at 30 years old are making 100,000, 150, some more. So, you know, they feel like they've worked so hard to get to that point, and marriage is just, a lot of times people get married and divorce and lose a lot of that.
You know what's interesting is about your perception, though, is we know that the higher the income earner for a male, the more likely he is to be married. So that's kind of interesting. I will tell you, there's a caveat to that. Believe it or not, I think with African American men, the higher the income, I guess, because there's so many available women, and especially with interracial dating, etc., that they're harder to catch. So I don't know if there is, because African American men are so much in demand, but it's interesting. So again, the higher the income earner, typically, the more likely they are to be married. Again, sorry for the noise, guys. We got some people coming by on the street. It'll be over in just a second. Okay. Is anyone supposed to be the breadwinner in the relationship? And I just want you to just speak extemporaneously. Who do you think should be the breadwinner in the relationship?
I think the man should. Probably
No,
gonna get
it's
a lot of judgment for that, but I'm only speaking from a personal standpoint. I've dated 2 men that did not make what I make, and it was a struggle. It was one of our main arguments, actually, a lot, and it brought a lot of stress into the relationship. I think because of that situation, it actually ended one of them because the stress was so large.
So you think it's easier if he makes more money?
Yes, I do. I just think sometimes it's easier to go the traditional route in that aspect.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. This is fascinating. I don't know for you guys, it's really fascinating for me to think about who should be the breadwinner. And I know a lot of you are going to have opinions about that. So please fire away. Send us any comments. I'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
Men, what do you think about this? And by the way, with each person, I'm going to be asking the same questions, but we'll be getting obviously very different responses. And so I felt it was important to keep the questions the same so that we can hear from people from different walks of life.
And I'd love to know from the women how they juggle that, handle that. Maybe I haven't been handling it correctly. I'm not sure, so I'd love to hear a response from some of the women that have maybe been in the same situation as me, where they make more than their partner, and how they handle that and how they got through that and made it successful with those differences.
Yeah, that's a really important question. So guys, if you have any tips, please send them. We'd love to have a discussion going about this, about who's supposed to be the breadwinner. And if you think it's the man, you know, how do you handle if you're making more money than your man? What do you do?